The softest part of the night often begins with a question, and tonight it's this one. What did winter truly feel like for ordinary people long ago, when all you could hear was the hush of cold wind and the calm heartbeat of a small fire beside you? Let your shoulders loosen a little as the warmth of your blanket settles in. Let your breathing slow, and allow the gentle curiosity of the past to guide you toward sleep. You are safe here, in a quiet story shaped only by simple moments of winter. So now, let's take a slow breath together and step into the first calm hours of medieval winter. Before we drift deeper, may I ask from which country you are listening tonight, and what time it is there? I always enjoy imagining the quiet corners of the world where people unwind to these stories. And before we go any further, if you enjoy calm historical storytelling like this, feel free to press like, subscribe, and share a gentle comment. It helps this small channel grow and keeps these relaxing histories coming your way. Winter in the medieval world didn't arrive all at once. It approached quietly, like the soft dimming of a lantern, day by day cooling the air until people noticed their breath drifting in front of them during early mornings. The season felt less like an enemy and more like a reminder to slow down, to gather closer to home, and to move with a softer rhythm. As you picture that shift, let your own breathing follow that same slower pattern. Families recognized winter's arrival through tiny signs. The last apples in the loft losing their freshness. The final leaves settling on the ground. The evening air slipping through the wooden shutters in brief, chilly whispers. These little signals shape their expectations, gently urging them to prepare for the long nights ahead. As you listen, notice how each detail brings you deeper into a calmer state. The first true bite of winter usually came with a crisp morning, the kind where the ground carried a thin glimmering frost that cracked softly under footsteps. People stepped outside wrapped in their warmest layers, feeling both the cold and the quiet beauty surrounding them. The stillness of that world often encouraged reflection, the same way a calm moment now invites your thoughts to slow down. Inside their homes, winter meant rearranging life around the hearth. Not for luxury, but for warmth and survival granted by the permission of Allah. Wooden stools, woven mats, and small work tools were brought closer to that heat, forming a living space that felt intimate and calm. Picture that scene as a gentle glow, steady and safe, guiding your mind toward rest. Every year, the rhythm of winter felt familiar. People expected shorter days, slower routines, and longer evenings. This familiarity gave comfort, much like how knowing your bedtime routine helps your thoughts settle. As you imagine those quieter days, let your shoulders relax just a bit more, and let your attention drift like falling snow. The sounds of early winter were subtle, but meaningful. The soft crack of frozen grass, the distant thud of someone chopping wood, the faint rustle of wind weaving through bare branches. These gentle noises connected people to the season. Let those imagined sounds wrap around your mind like a warm blanket, steady and grounding. From time to time, allow yourself to return to your breath. A slow inhale, a slower exhale. Just as medieval families adjusted to winter's pace, you can adjust to this gentle rhythm. This small reminder is here only to help your body settle further into comfort. With daylight shrinking, people relied more on firelight. Flames flickered on wooden walls, turning simple rooms into warm shelters from the cold. That glow guided evening tasks, from mending clothes to storing the last of the season's food. Each movement was slow and thoughtful, allowing the night to arrive without hurry. Imagine that soft flicker, steady and calming, reflecting onto your own quiet thoughts. As winter deepened, the world outside seemed to move with a quieter pulse. Footpaths became still, fields rested beneath frost, and rivers slowed in the cold. Yet inside every home, life continued gently, shaped by routine and warmth. Let that contrast, the cold outside, the calm inside, settle into your imagination, soothing and steady. People often prepared for winter long before it arrived, storing grain, drying herbs, and sealing food in wooden containers. These efforts brought reassurance during cold weeks, knowing there was enough to sustain the household. In the same way, allow yourself to feel reassured tonight, knowing you have given yourself this time to rest, uninterrupted and peaceful. In early winter evenings, Homes grew quieter as the sky darkened quickly. Families gathered around the hearth to share simple tasks, quiet conversations, or moments of stillness. These evenings weren't dramatic or busy. They were slow, warm, and steady. Let that sense of steady warmth ripple gently across your own mind. Every few moments, return softly to your breath. This is your little anchor, the way medieval families anchored themselves with routines that kept them calm through the season. A slow breath in, a slower breath out. Let that simple action guide you deeper into the quiet of the night. As the colder days settled fully into the land, winter transformed the world into shades of muted grey and pale blue. Smoke from chimneys rose into the crisp air, drifting gently over rooftops. Life continued, but softer, quieter, more intentional. Let these images slow the pace of your thoughts, easing you further toward rest. And as the first nights of winter wrapped themselves around homes, people adapted naturally. They accepted the slower rhythm, embraced the calm, and shaped their days to fit the season. In this same way, let yourself lean into the calm of this moment, allowing the gentle story to support your journey into sleep. The early days of winter were also marked by quieter paths between homes. Footsteps became fewer as people preferred to stay near their hearths unless necessary. Those who did step outside moved carefully, their breaths rising in small white clouds. The village felt gentler in this season, as if the world itself encouraged everyone to slow down and conserve their warmth. Even simple tasks gained a calmer rhythm. Carrying water from a well, gathering firewood, checking stored supplies, all of it flowed at a steady pace shaped by the cold. People learned to be efficient, not by rushing, but by moving thoughtfully. As you imagine these tasks, allow your own mind to follow that thoughtful pace, slow and unhurried. In the stillness of winter mornings, even the smallest sounds became noticeable. The creak of a wooden door opening, the thump of a bucket placed gently on the ground, the soft brush of fabric as someone wrapped a cloak tighter. These quiet sounds painted the atmosphere of daily life, creating a sense of calm that often mirrored the hush of night. Let your attention drift for a moment back to your breathing. A gentle inhale, a relaxed exhale. Just like those small winter sounds, your breath is a reminder of the simple moments that help guide you toward rest. This is your soft anchor for tonight, a place your thoughts can return to whenever they wander. As daylight grew shorter, families often finished their outdoor chores early. The fading sun signaled the transition into evening routines, and people naturally fell into a slower rhythm. Lanterns were lit, firewood was stacked neatly beside the hearth, and homes settled into a comfortable quiet. Imagine that shift taking place around you, gently preparing your mind for the coming night. Inside, warmth gathered slowly. A small fire became the heart of the home, glowing softly across woven mats and wooden shelves. People would sit close, sharing simple conversations or focusing on quiet tasks like repairing tools or smoothing wool. These modest actions filled the long evenings with a sense of peace, the same kind of peace you may already feel settling around you. The world outside grew colder, but inside, life formed its own small sanctuary granted by the permission and mercy of Allah. Families arranged blankets, kept water near the fire so it wouldn't freeze, and ensured that everyone remained comfortable. These moments of care were part of what made winter feel bearable, even gentle at times. From time to time, remember to return to your breath. It's okay if your mind drifts. That's part of the journey towards sleep. Let the rhythm of breathing guide you back to the calm of this story, the way families long ago returned to their hearth whenever the cold pressed too strongly at the door. As nights became longer, people often lingered a bit more beside the fire before drifting off to sleep. The quiet of winter evenings encouraged reflection and simple gratitude for warmth, safety, and companionship. Picture that slow transition into rest, allowing it to echo softly in your own body as you settle deeper into comfort. Winter also had its small beauties, subtle details only noticed during calm moments. A faint shimmer of frost on wooden beams, the glow of firelight painting soft shadows across the room, the gentle stillness of the world outside. These details made the season feel meaningful, turning ordinary nights into quiet memories. The deeper winter grew, the more people embraced its pace. They understood that this season required patience and steady routines. By accepting the natural slowness, they found moments of peace even in the coldest weeks. Let that idea guide you now, helping you ease into a slower, quieter state of mind. Gradually, the nights became predictable in their quiet comfort. Homes settled into familiar routines, and families gathered close under blankets, sharing warmth and rest. The calm of winter was not just a backdrop, it shaped the rhythm of their lives. As you imagine these peaceful scenes, notice how your own thoughts begin to soften and settle. Take another gentle moment to focus on your breathing. This soft reminder is here only to help you relax a little more. A slow breath in and a slower breath out. Let that simple rhythm act like a small lantern guiding your attention toward rest, the same way the glow of a hearth guided families long ago. As the first weeks of winter came and went, people adjusted completely to the season's demands. The world outside was cold, still, and quiet, but inside, warmth and routine made life feel steady. This balance between cold and comfort shaped the essence of early winter, offering a kind of calm that you too can feel as you sink deeper into relaxation. And as the long winter night stretched onward, families accepted its quiet embrace without rushing toward any conclusion. They simply lived in the moment, letting the slow rhythm of the season guide them. In that same spirit, let this gentle story continue to hold you softly, easing you towards sleep without needing any final resolution, just the quiet comfort of drifting deeper into rest. The first moments of a winter morning in the medieval world carried their own kind of quiet surprise, the kind that whispered through the chilly air long before the sun rose. People often woke to the soft shimmer of frost along the wooden beams, a delicate reminder that the world outside was frozen and still. Blankets held the last traces of warmth, encouraging them to linger just a little longer before facing the cold. As you imagine that scene, let your own breathing slow into a comfortable rhythm, as if you, too, were waking gently inside that peaceful, quiet room. Before we continue exploring this winter morning, may I ask from which country you're listening tonight, and what hour it is where you are? These stories travel far, reaching calm rooms all around the world. And if you enjoy this kind of gentle, sleep-friendly history, you're welcome to like the video, subscribe, and share a soft comment. It truly supports the channel and helps keep these calm stories alive. When winter settled in fully, mornings were the moments when cold felt most present. A thin mist of breath hovered in the air with every exhale, and the floorboards held a stiff chill that encouraged people to move carefully. The home itself seemed to rest in silence, waiting for someone to stir the embers back to life. As you picture that stillness, let it guide your mind into a slower, quieter state. Someone in the household usually rose before the others, wrapping themselves in layered fabric to protect against the cold. Their first task was simple yet important: rekindling the fire. With careful hands, they coaxed yesterday's embers, offering warmth that, by the permission of Allah, would spread slowly through the room. Imagine that small glow returning, steady and comforting. The moment the fire responded, even slightly, the home began to change. Shadows softened. The cold near the hearth loosened its grip. A faint warmth reached into corners that had been silent and frosty. This transformation was gentle, never sudden, much like the way your own thoughts begin to warm as you sink deeper into relaxation. Waking up in a cold home also meant moving with calm intention. People stretched stiff limbs, adjusted their layers, and listened to the familiar sounds of morning: the crackle of new firewood, the quiet shifting of blankets, the soft thud of wooden cups being set out. These subtle sounds made the home feel alive again. Let those peaceful details shape the rhythm of your breathing. Sometimes, the cold was strong enough that people would warm their hands over the fire before attempting anything else. They held them close, palms open, welcoming heat that slowly returned sensation to their fingers. As you imagine that warmth spreading, picture a similar comfort settling through your own body, easing away the tension of the day. Take a moment to gently return your focus to your breath. A slow inhale, a deeper exhale. Just as families centered their mornings around the fire, you can center your attention around your breathing, letting it steady your thoughts. As the warmth grew, Others in the home would begin to wake. They emerged quietly, wrapped in wool or thick cloth, moving toward the hearth with drowsy eyes. There was no rush, only the quiet process of greeting the morning. This tranquil routine helped set the tone for the rest of the day, carrying a calm that mirrored the season itself. Even preparing for the day took on a softer pace during winter. People tended to choose tasks that required less exposure to the cold, organizing small indoor chores first. They checked stored food, folded cloth, or mended simple tools. These unhurried tasks were perfect for the early hours when warmth still gathered slowly. Allow that sense of unhurried purpose to ease your thoughts. The cold also brought a certain clarity to the air. Each breath felt crisp, almost cleansing. People often paused near open shutters just long enough to observe the pale morning light touching the frosted ground outside. It reminded them of the world's steady cycles and their place within it. Let that same clarity bring calmness to your own thoughts. Inside the home, the gradual rise of warmth became a comforting ritual. The fire glowed brighter, the air softened, and blankets were folded neatly for the next night. These small acts shaped the rhythm of winter mornings, creating a sense of predictability that soothed the mind. Let that predictability drift into your own sense of calm. At times, the cold made certain objects too stiff to handle easily. Leather straps hardened overnight, and tools felt icy to the touch. People warmed them gently near the fire, allowing time and heat to make everything workable again. This slow warming mirrored how their bodies also adjusted, taking their time to fully awaken. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Slow and steady, like the soft flicker of a morning fire. Let this rhythm guide you deeper into comfort as the story continues. For many families, the quiet of winter mornings was a blessing. It gave them a moment to reflect, to plan, and to appreciate the warmth they had. Even without modern comforts, they found peace in simplicity and routine. Picture that peaceful beginning to the day settling softly into your imagination. And as the first tasks of the morning came together, the home finally felt awake. Warmth spread through every corner, carrying with it a sense of calm strength that prepared everyone for the hours ahead. In this same way, allow the gentle rhythm of this winter morning to guide you further into rest, without pressure, without hurry, simply drifting into a quieter state of mind. As the morning light grew brighter, people often took a moment to observe the world outside from the safety of their warm space. Frost collected on the edges of window shutters, forming delicate patterns that looked almost like woven threads of ice. The breath of animals in nearby shelters rose in soft white puffs. These scenes reminded them that winter had fully settled in, yet they faced it with patience and calm. Let that same sense of gentle acceptance ease your thoughts as you settle deeper into relaxation. The cold mornings encouraged people to work together. Someone might prepare warm water near the fire, while another arranged simple food for the day. These shared efforts created a quiet harmony in the home, each task contributing to the comfort of everyone inside. Imagine that cooperative warmth surrounding you, steady and reassuring. Even children, wrapped in thick wool, moved quietly in the early hours. Their footsteps were soft on the straw-covered floor, and their hands reached instinctively for the warmth of the hearth. Winter taught them stillness, awareness, and calm. As you picture that scene, notice how your breathing naturally becomes slower and more peaceful. From time to time, gently return to your breath. A slow inhale, a deeper exhale. This simple rhythm can help guide your attention toward rest, the same way a warm hearth guided families through their winter mornings. The first meal of the day was often simple but comforting. Warm grains, softened bread, or heated broth provided strength against the cold. People sat close to each other, allowing shared warmth to spread naturally, granted by the permission of Allah. These meals were not rushed. They unfolded at their own gentle pace, shaping the calm mood of the day. Winter mornings also encouraged quiet conversation. People spoke softly, conserving their energy and embracing the stillness around them. Topics were simple: weather, tasks, small household matters. These conversations were calm and grounding, helping to steady the mind. Let that softness settle into your own thoughts. Preparing to step outside required patience. Layers had to be adjusted, cloaks fastened, and hands wrapped to protect against the cold. The process itself was slow and thoughtful, allowing the body to fully wake. As you imagine this preparation, allow yourself to sink a little deeper into comfort. Once ready, the first steps outdoors felt both sharp and refreshing. The cold air brushed against their faces, waking them more completely than any spoken word. Footsteps were careful on frosted ground, and each breath reminded them of the season's stillness. Imagine that gentle clarity passing through your mind like a cool, calming breeze. Back inside, the home kept its steady warmth. The fire's glow strengthened as more wood was added, filling the room with soft, waving light. This space became a retreat from the cold, a place where people returned throughout the day to rest and recover for a moment. Let that sense of retreat wrap around your own thoughts, steady and warm. As tasks continued, the rhythm of the day became predictable. This predictability brought comfort, helping people feel grounded even in harsh weather. Simple routines guided their hours, forming a quiet structure that kept life peaceful. You can let that structure guide you too, gently settling your mind as you move toward rest. When the cold outside grew too intense, people paused their work and moved back near the hearth. They warmed their hands, stretched their legs, and let the fire help them recover. These small breaks made winter more manageable, and they accepted them without guilt or hurry. Let that feeling of permission ease into your own heart, reminding you it's okay to slow down. Another soft reminder to return to your breath. Slow and steady. Let each exhale release a little more of your tension, the way morning warmth slowly released stiffness from the home. Throughout the morning, the home continued to shift from cold to comfort. What began as a chilly, quiet room slowly transformed into a lively but peaceful space filled with warmth and steady activity. This change reflected the resilience of ordinary people who embraced the season rather than resisted it. Picture that transformation guiding your mind even deeper toward calm. The final moments of the winter morning carried a grounded sense of readiness. Tasks were organized, warmth was restored, and the day had found its pace. In this gentle transition, people prepared themselves for whatever the cold day might bring. In the same way, allow your thoughts to rest softly, knowing you don't need to rush toward any conclusion. And as the morning settled into its full shape, the quiet strength of winter mornings remained with them. There was no need for urgency, no demand for perfection, only the calm acceptance of the season. Let this final image rest gently in your mind, allowing you to drift a little closer to sleep, held by the soft rhythm of a world waking slowly on a winter day. Staying warm in winter long ago wasn't about switching on a heater. It was a slow, patient ritual shaped by layers, routine, and gentle effort. People understood that warmth came gradually, spreading from the hearth through the room like a calm breath. As you imagine their quiet mornings, picture warmth moving slowly across your own body, easing you into a deeper sense of rest and comfort. Everything in winter unfolded at a softer pace, inviting the mind to settle. Before we explore how families kept themselves warm, may I ask from which country you're listening tonight and what time it is there? These stories meet you wherever you are, offering a shared moment of calm. And if you find comfort in slow, quiet history like this, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and share a gentle comment. It truly helps this small channel continue creating peaceful stories for your evenings. Warmth in a medieval winter began with clothing. People layered wool, linen, and thick woven fabric, combining each piece with care. Cloaks wrapped around shoulders. Scarves protected the neck. Mittens and thick socks offered comfort against the cold. These layers didn't just keep them warm, they shaped the feeling of safety inside their homes. Imagine these soft textures surrounding you, calming and steady. To keep heat inside the home, floors were often covered with straw or woven mats. These simple materials softened the chill rising from the ground and made even the coldest mornings more bearable. Homes became warm not instantly, but gradually, as people moved through them with quiet purpose. Let that slow buildup of warmth feel like a gentle invitation for your thoughts to ease. Windows and shutters were covered with cloth, animal skin, or wooden boards to block drafts. Every gap mattered, and every small improvement made a difference in the coldest weeks. These simple solutions created an environment where warmth could gather naturally, granted by the permission of Allah, forming a cozy refuge from the icy wind outside. Picture those small adjustments as moments of care, guiding your mind towards stillness. Most warmth began with the hearth. Families tended their fires throughout the day, adding wood at a steady pace and keeping embers alive. The fire's glow lit up the room with a soft, flickering warmth. It wasn't overpowering. Instead, it formed a calm center around which life unfolded. Imagine that glow reflecting off wooden walls, casting gentle shapes across a quiet room. Evening hours around the hearth were especially comforting. People gathered close, sharing stories, mending clothes, or simply resting. The slow rhythm of crackling would create a familiar sound that soothed the mind after a long day. Let that sound play faintly in your imagination, a soft reminder of the peace that warmth can bring. Take a moment to return to your breath. Slow inhale, slower exhale. Just as warmth spread gradually in those homes, let calmness spread gently through you. There's no hurry here, only the quiet unfolding of a winter night. Some families used warm stones or heated bricks wrapped in cloth to help them stay comfortable. These simple objects held warmth long enough to make beds and sleeping areas less harsh in the cold. The comfort wasn't perfect, but it was steady and reassuring, bringing relief in a season that demanded patience. Picture the gentle heat from those stones easing into the cold air around you. Cloaks and blankets were often shared, especially on the coldest nights. Families understood that warmth grew stronger when people stayed close. The soft sound of shifting blankets, the quiet breathing of loved ones, and the slow dimming of the fire created an atmosphere of deep rest. Imagine that closeness wrapping around you like a safe, comforting layer. During the day, people stayed warm by keeping themselves gently active. Movement helped blood flow, making tasks feel easier despite the temperature. They worked at a steady pace, never rushing, letting their bodies generate warmth naturally. That steady rhythm mirrored the calm of winter itself. Let your own thoughts find a similar rhythm, slow, grounded, peaceful. Warm drinks also played a role. Heated water, broth, or herbal infusions brought comfort from within, especially in the early hours. These simple drinks warmed hands and eased the morning chill. Imagine holding a warm cup now, feeling heat travel slowly through your fingers and into your core. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Let it be slow and soft. This little moment is just for you, helping you drift deeper into rest as the story continues. Warmth was sometimes found in sunlight, even in winter. When the sky was clear, people stood near doorways or open spaces to feel the faint warmth of the sun on their faces. It wasn't strong, but it offered a moment of comfort that lifted the spirit. Picture that thin winter sunlight touching your skin, subtle yet soothing. Clothing, fire, movement, and shared warmth all work together to create comfort in a season known for its cold. Nothing was rushed. Everything was done with gentle intention. This slow effort shaped each winter day, turning harsh weather into something manageable and even peaceful. As you imagine all of this, feel your own body loosening, softening into a deeper calm. And as the day moved forward, warmth became a patient companion, rising and fading as people tended their fires, adjusted layers, and settled into routine. This gentle cycle offered a sense of stability, reminding everyone that winter's challenges could be met with steady effort. Allow that same sense of stability to guide you as you drift deeper into the quiet rhythm of the night. As winter deepened, families learned to read the subtle signs of shifting temperature inside their homes. The way a draft moved along the floor, the speed at which water cooled, or how quickly the fire responded to new would tell them how much warmth they needed to restore. This awareness created a quiet connection between people and their surroundings, a calm attentiveness that helped them manage even the coldest days. Imagine that gentle awareness settling over your own thoughts, steadying your mind like a soft blanket. During long afternoons, warmth was maintained through small habits. Someone would add wood to the fire at regular intervals. Another person might adjust shutters or check for drafts. These subtle actions kept warmth from escaping too quickly. They were not burdensome tasks, but simple rhythms woven into daily life. Let these calm, repetitive motions guide your imagination toward a slower, deeper sense of rest. Clothing also played an ongoing role throughout the day. People adjusted layers depending on their activity, removing a cloak when working harder or adding a hood when stepping outside. This slow balancing act helped regulate comfort, allowing them to adapt gently to winter's demands. As you picture this, let your own body soften into a comfortable position, supported by the quiet rhythm of the moment. Even in the coldest hours, warmth could be found in unexpected places. Homes with animals nearby often felt a bit warmer, as the gentle heat from living creatures contributed to the indoor temperature by Allah's permission. People recognized this and arranged their living spaces mindfully, understanding how small choices could create meaningful comfort. Let that simple idea, a small warmth in a quiet corner, settle gently in your imagination. Take a moment to return to your breath. A slow inhale, a deeper exhale. Just as warmth was built through layers and patience, your relaxation deepens through steady breathing. Allow this small reminder to calm your mind further. Evenings brought their own rituals for staying warm. People prepared thicker bedding, warmed stones, and placed cloaks within reach. Children and elders were settled closer to the hearth, where the glow of the fire made the winter night feel less harsh. These small acts of care shaped the emotional warmth of the home just as much as the physical heat. Let that feeling of gentle care reach you now, easing tension from your shoulders. The fire became the center of the household's evening rhythm. People fed it carefully, ensuring it would last through the darkest hours. Sparks rose softly with each new log, and shadows danced along the walls in quiet patterns. This calming, flickering light guided conversations into softer tones and encouraged early rest. Imagine that warm glow filling your mind with a peaceful, steady quiet. Sometimes people used warm cloths or simple wraps to ease stiffness in their hands and feet. These soothing touches helped them relax after long hours of cold work. Heat seeped slowly through the fabric, bringing comfort to tired muscles and offering relief. Picture that slow, comforting warmth spreading through your own body, releasing any lingering tension. On nights when the wind howled loudly outside, people listened to it with calm acceptance. They knew the strength of the cold, yet they trusted their layers, their fire, and their routines. This quiet confidence formed an emotional shelter, helping them feel safe even during harsh weather. Let that sense of security echo gently inside you, creating a peaceful space for your thoughts. Another soft reminder to return to your breathing. Inhale slowly, exhale even slower. This rhythm is your anchor, just like a steady fire was theirs. As the hours passed, warmth shifted subtly throughout the home. Some areas cooled, others retained heat longer, and people adjusted themselves naturally to stay comfortable. These movements were small, like the quiet shifting of blankets or the soft creak of wood underfoot. Imagine those peaceful sounds surrounding you, lulling your senses toward deeper calm. By the time night settled completely, the home felt like a sanctuary against the cold outside. The combined warmth of fire, layers, movement, and shared company created a gentle environment where rest came easily. This balance made winter easier to endure, turning cold nights into moments of quiet connection. Let that sense of sanctuary wrap around you now. Warmth was never perfect in winter, but it was always gently present. People learned to make the most of it through patience, creativity, and steady effort. This approach transformed harsh weather into something manageable, even peaceful. As you imagine this resilience, allow your mind to soften into its own sense of quiet strength. The steady rituals of staying warm also shaped their sense of time. Daylight hours were slow and deliberate, while evenings invited rest and reflection. This natural rhythm helped people remain grounded throughout the season. Let that gentle rhythm guide your thoughts, helping you drift closer to rest. And as the night deepened, warmth lingered softly in the home, fading only as the fire dimmed. People surrendered to sleep wrapped in layers, trusting the quiet, steady cycle of winter. In the same way, allow yourself to sink into your own quiet cycle of relaxation, without any need to rush or conclude, simply drifting deeper into peaceful rest. Winter changed the sound and rhythm of every kitchen in the medieval world. Instead of the lively chopping and stirring of warmer months, the cold season brought a quieter, more deliberate pace. Meals were shaped not by abundance, but by planning, patience, and whatever people had carefully preserved. Imagine stepping into one of those calm kitchens now, where the scent of warm broth drifts through the air and the slow crackling of the hearth creates the soft background music of a winter morning. Let that gentleness settle through you like a warm blanket. Before exploring how families prepared their winter meals, from which country are you listening tonight, and what time is it there? These stories travel to many quiet rooms around the world, each with its own peaceful moment. And if calm history like this helps you unwind, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and leave a gentle comment. It truly helps this small channel grow and continue creating relaxing stories for you. Most winter food began as careful preparation months before the cold arrived. Grains were dried and stored in covered bins. Roots like onions, turnips, and carrots were arranged in cool places where they would last through the season. These foods became the foundation of winter meals, steady and reliable by Allah's permission. Imagine the slow satisfaction of opening a storage bin and seeing the simple ingredients that would carry a family through the cold. Inside the kitchen, the fire burned almost constantly. It didn't roar or blaze dramatically. Instead, it glowed softly, releasing gentle heat perfect for simmering stews or warming water. Every sound it made felt like part of the room's heartbeat. As you imagine that steady glow, let it soften the rhythm of your thoughts. Cooking in winter was less about variety and more about consistency. A single pot of stew might simmer for hours, growing richer with every moment. Families often added small pieces of dried herbs, stored vegetables, or grains to thicken the mixture. These meals weren't fancy, but they carried warmth and nourishment, offering comfort during the coldest weeks. Picture that slow, bubbling pot as a source of quiet reassurance. Winter kitchens were also places of gentle conversation. People spoke in soft tones, their voices blending with the crackle of firewood and the clink of clay bowls. These moments made the space feel warm, not just physically, but emotionally. Let the idea of these soft voices help guide your breathing into a slower pace. Take a moment to return to your breath. Inhale slowly, exhale gently. Just as simmering food takes time to develop flavor, your relaxation grows gradually, breath by breath. Bread played a steady role in winter meals. Some households baked simple loaves made from stored flour, while others softened older bread in warm broth to make it easier to eat. The scent of baking dough filled the kitchen with a comforting warmth that made the cold outside feel distant. Imagine that subtle scent drifting around you now, bringing calm with it. Families often ate together close to the fire, each person holding a warm bowl or cup. The heat rising from the food warmed their hands, softened their faces, and eased the morning chill. These shared meals strengthened the sense of togetherness that winter demanded. Picture yourself in that circle, feeling the soft glow of warmth reaching your fingertips. Water was sometimes difficult in winter, especially when it froze overnight. Families kept containers near the hearth to prevent this, allowing them to always have access to a small supply for cooking. This careful management became a natural part of winter life, a quiet routine that kept kitchens functioning. Let that sense of gentle preparedness bring ease to your own thoughts. During long winter afternoons, the kitchen remained the warmest space in the home. People often gathered there to mend clothing, prepare ingredients, or simply enjoy the steady heat. The room felt alive in a calm, peaceful way. Imagine that warmth surrounding you like a soft cocoon. Food preservation also shaped winter routines. Dried beans, grains, and salted items were kept in clay pots or wooden containers, opened only when needed. The measured use of these supplies taught patience and awareness. As you imagine this slow, thoughtful process, let your mind settle deeper into quiet focus. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Slow, steady, without effort. Let the rhythm guide your attention softly back to the moment. Simple spices and dried herbs transformed winter meals, adding small bursts of comfort and flavor. Even a pinch of dried mint or crushed seeds could lift the spirit. People used these sparingly, appreciating every tiny note of warmth they added. Imagine that subtle flavor spreading through a warm bowl of food, soothing and steady. Preparing food also became a way to stay warm. Chopping wood, stirring pots, kneading dough, all encouraged movement that helped the body generate heat. These actions were unhurried, fitting perfectly with the slower rhythm of winter days. Let that unhurried pace influence your own thoughts, helping them drift softly toward calm. And as the day moved gently forward, the kitchen remained a sanctuary of warmth and routine. The fire's glow, the steady scent of simmering food, and the quiet rhythm of daily chores created a comforting world separated from the cold outside. Let this peaceful image settle around you like a gentle blanket, guiding you deeper into rest. In the deeper hours of the day, winter kitchens often held a calm, steady glow. Even when the air outside felt sharp and unforgiving, the warmth from a small pot or a slowly burning log made the room feel like a safe harbor. People moved through these spaces in quiet patterns, placing pots, grinding grains, or stirring gently simmering meals. Imagine the gentle echo of each movement blending with the crackle of the fire, creating a peaceful rhythm that soothes the mind. Sometimes families added dried ingredients that held memories of warmer months. A handful of dried berries, a pinch of herbs gathered in late summer, or pieces of grain carefully stored after harvest. These small additions brought comfort and reminded them of the cycle of seasons created by Allah. Picture those little bursts of flavor joining the warmth of the pot, enriching both the food and the feeling of the moment. The kitchen's warmth drew people together during winter afternoons. Instead of separate tasks scattered across the home, many chores were brought to this single, comforting place. Mending fabric, shaping dough, or shelling dried beans all happened near the fire. This gathering created an atmosphere of shared effort and quiet companionship. Imagine yourself in that circle, feeling the steady warmth and the comfort of soft voices. Meals during winter were never rushed. People took time to savor each spoonful, letting the warmth spread slowly through their bodies. Eating became an act of grounding, a reminder that nourishment granted by Allah could ease the hardships of the cold season. Let yourself feel that same sense of grounding now, allowing every imagined detail to soften your thoughts. From time to time, gently return to your breath. A slow inhale, a soft exhale. Just like winter meals simmering patiently, your relaxation deepens at its own steady pace. Bread often served as the anchor of many meals. If freshly baked loaves were unavailable, older bread was revived by warming it near the hearth or soaking it in broth. This simple act filled the room with a comforting scent that felt like a promise of warmth. As you picture that gentle smell, allow a sense of warmth to settle deeper into your chest. Families used everything efficiently. Vegetable peels were added to broths, leftover grains were shaped into small cakes, and even the smaller scraps were repurposed into nourishing meals. Nothing was wasted, and every contribution mattered. This careful attention brought a peaceful order to the kitchen, mirroring the slow rhythm of winter days. Let that sense of order quiet your thoughts. During colder evenings, the kitchen often became a gathering space for stories. People shared memories, simple observations, or reflections on the day. The soft glow of the fire illuminated their faces, and the rhythm of their voices blended naturally with the winter quiet. Imagine those gentle stories drifting around you like warm air. Keeping water warm was another part of daily routine. Containers were placed near the hearth to prevent freezing, ensuring that cooking and drinking remained possible. This thoughtful preparation kept everyone comfortable even during the coldest nights. Let that feeling of readiness calm your mind, reminding you that small efforts bring steady comfort. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Let each inhale feel like warmth entering your body, and each exhale feel like tension melting away. In some kitchens, a pot hung above the fire throughout the day, ready to receive new ingredients whenever available. This slow cooking method made mealtimes flexible and reassuring. The scent of the simmering pot became a constant presence, a sign of stability in a season known for its challenges. Picture that scent softening the air with warmth. Even the tools of the kitchen carried meaning in winter. Wooden spoons, clay bowls, woven baskets, all showed signs of frequent use. Their smooth surfaces and familiar weight brought a sense of comfort and continuity. Imagine holding one of those warm, well-used tools in your hands, feeling its reassuring presence. Families often planned meals together, discussing what ingredients to use, what to save, and what to cook next. These quiet conversations strengthened their connection and made each meal something shared rather than routine. Let that shared decision-making create a feeling of gentle unity in your imagination. As the evening grew cold, the kitchen light dimmed but never fully disappeared. Even a low fire offered enough glow to warm the room and bring a sense of peace. People gathered their blankets and prepared for rest, carrying the kitchen's warmth with them into the night. Imagine that final glow resting softly in your thoughts, steady and calming. And as winter nights settled deep outside, kitchens remained symbols of quiet strength. With simple ingredients, patient routines, and warmth granted by Allah, families created comfort in the colder season. Allow that image to wrap around you gently, guiding you closer to sleep without urgency, held by the slow rhythm of a warm winter kitchen. Winter slowed the world outside, but it never stopped it. Even in the coldest weeks, daily life continued with a quiet determination. People adjusted their pace, choosing tasks that matched the season's rhythm, moving gently through routines that kept their homes functioning. Imagine stepping into this calm winter world, where each action carries a soft intention and every sound blends with the quiet air. Let that steady rhythm wrap around you like a warm blanket, easing your mind into a slower, more peaceful state. Before we continue, from which country are you listening tonight, and what time is it there? Knowing where these calm stories travel brings a sense of connection across the quiet of the night. And if this relaxing history helps you unwind, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and leave a gentle comment. It truly supports this small channel and keeps these peaceful stories alive. Morning tasks during winter often began with checking the animals. Their shelters held the faint warmth of living bodies, granted by Allah, and families ensured they had enough food and dry bedding. The simple sounds of rustling straw, soft breathing, and the creak of wooden doors became part of the morning soundtrack. Imagine those gentle sounds settling into your mind, grounding you in quiet calm. Winter work moved slowly because the cold demanded patience. Tools felt heavier, hands chilled quickly, and breath rose in pale clouds with each exhale. People worked in layers, taking frequent pauses to warm themselves near a hearth or a sheltered corner. This slower, careful pace made the day easier to manage. Let that sense of unrushed movement guide your own thoughts toward stillness. Repairing tools became a common task in winter. Wooden handles that had loosened or cracked were reinforced, and metal pieces were cleaned or sharpened. These were not loud or rushed jobs. They were small, precise actions done beside the fire where warmth helped hands stay steady. Picture those quiet repairs shaping the rhythm of the day. Families also spent time maintaining household items. Woven baskets were repaired, wool was spun into thread, and leather straps were softened and shaped for future use. These tasks filled the hours with gentle, repetitive movements that brought both focus and peace. As you imagine these scenes, allow the repetition to soften your thoughts, encouraging a deeper sense of calm. Take a moment to return to your breath. Slow inhale, slower exhale. Just as winter tasks unfolded patiently, your own relaxation deepens at its own pace. Indoor work became especially important when the cold outside grew harsh. Looms for weaving were set up near the warmest part of the home, and hands moved steadily across threads to create cloth for clothing or blankets. The soft tapping of wooden frames and the whisper of fabric became soothing sounds that filled the winter air. Let those sounds settle your thoughts. Winter also brought opportunities for small crafts. Carving wood, shaping simple tools, or smoothing bone pieces were activities done quietly beside the fire. These delicate tasks required focus but also encouraged stillness, making them perfect companions to long winter days. Imagine the gentle shavings falling from a carving knife, moving in slow, soft curls. Outdoor tasks never disappeared completely. Firewood needed gathering, paths needed clearing, and storage areas had to be checked. People approached these jobs with steady care, conserving their energy and moving only as needed. The cold air sharpened their senses, reminding them to work mindfully. Let that mindful approach inspire your own calm awareness. Returning inside after outdoor work brought a wave of relief. Warmth greeted them immediately, embracing cold hands and stiff limbs. The transition itself felt soothing, a quiet reminder of the comfort granted by Allah within the home. Imagine that warmth spreading through your own body now, loosening tension. Another gentle reminder to focus on your breath. Let your inhale be calm, and your exhale be even calmer. This small rhythm helps guide your mind deeper into rest. As the day continued, winter work remained steady but never overwhelming. Families distributed tasks among themselves, allowing everyone to contribute without becoming fatigued. The balance of activity and rest created a peaceful flow, perfectly suited to the season's slower pace. Let that balance echo softly in your thoughts. Small chores like sweeping floors, organizing storage, or wiping down wooden surfaces were done slowly and quietly. The repetition made these moments feel meditative rather than tiring. Imagine the soft sound of a broom moving across a straw-covered floor, creating a gentle rhythm that soothes the senses. By early afternoon, people often paused for warmth and nourishment. They gathered near the hearth, shared simple food, and let their bodies recover before continuing with lighter tasks. This restful break helped maintain energy throughout the day. Imagine yourself resting in that warm space, feeling the steady glow of the fire easing any lingering tension. And as the winter day stretched on, work remained present but never rushed. Each task served its purpose, creating a sense of continuity and calm. The season encouraged patience, reflection, and quiet perseverance. Let this gentle rhythm guide you deeper into a peaceful state, preparing you for the soft quiet of evening. When daylight began to fade early, people shifted their remaining tasks indoors. The dimming sky served as a gentle reminder that winter days were short and energy needed to be used wisely. Lanterns were lit with care, giving the room a soft amber glow that guided hands through simple evening work. As you picture that warm light filling the room, let your own breathing slow, easing you deeper into calm. Some families used the late afternoon to prepare materials for the next day. Firewood was brought closer to the hearth, tools were arranged neatly, and unfinished chores were set aside where they could be picked up again without rush. These small preparations created a sense of readiness that made winter feel more manageable. Let that feeling of gentle preparedness settle through your thoughts, steady and comforting. Clothing also needed attention during winter. Stitching loose seams, repairing worn edges, or reinforcing thick layers helped protect against the cold. These tasks were done slowly, often by the fire, where the warmth made the work pleasant. Imagine the quiet sound of thread slipping through fabric, forming a soft, repetitive rhythm that soothes your mind. Animal care continued into the evening. Families checked shelters one last time, ensuring livestock had enough food and dry bedding. This small act of responsibility offered reassurance to both people and animals alike. The sound of gentle breathing and rustling straw created a peaceful environment that mirrored the calm of the winter night. Picture that soft scene settling into your imagination. From time to time, return softly to your breath. Each inhale is a moment of warmth, and each exhale is a little release of tension. Let this steady rhythm guide you deeper into rest. Inside the home, winter evenings encouraged work that required stillness. Sorting stored food, cleaning tools, or arranging baskets were all tasks that matched the quieter hours. The fire glowed beside them, reflecting gently off clay bowls and wooden shelves. Imagine that soft glow filling your mind with warmth. Conversations during these hours were unhurried. People spoke about practical plans, simple hopes, or reflections on the day. Voices blended with the sound of shifting wood in the fire, forming a calm atmosphere that supported quiet concentration. Let that gentle environment guide your own thoughts toward softness. As the evening deepened, work slowed naturally. People folded their unfinished tasks and placed them carefully aside for tomorrow. Nothing needed to be perfect. Winter taught patience, reminding everyone that slow progress was still progress. Imagine that sense of acceptance lifting weight from your mind. Sometimes hands moved toward comforting, repetitive activities like twisting cords, mending small items, or reshaping tools. These actions required just enough focus to steady the mind, while still allowing thoughts to drift peacefully. Picture that repetitive rhythm smoothing the edges of your own thoughts. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Let each inhale feel like warmth entering your chest, and each exhale like a soft release of the day. By nightfall, the home carried a calm balance of work completed and work left for tomorrow. People felt no pressure to accomplish everything in one day. Winter encouraged steadiness rather than speed. Let this idea of steady progress help your mind slow down even further. The fire dimmed gradually, settling into a red, glowing bed of embers. Its warmth continued to fill the room, offering comfort as the night grew colder outside. Families gathered close, sharing blankets and quiet moments before resting. Imagine that gentle warmth reaching you too, softening your thoughts. Winter nights often brought a stillness that echoed through the home. The quiet felt protective, creating a sense of peace after a day of modest effort. It was a moment for reflection, for gratitude, and for surrendering to rest. Let that stillness wrap around you like a soft cloak. As the last tasks of the day faded, people prepared for sleep without hurry. Clothes were folded, tools placed aside, and the fire tended one final time. This small ritual marked the transition into night, offering comfort and familiarity. Picture that final glow lingering briefly before the room settles. And finally, as the home grew quiet and the cold pressed softly outside, the rhythm of winter work slipped gently into silence. There was no rush, no urgency, only the steady calm that came from doing enough for the day. Let this closing image guide you deeper into rest, without any need for resolution, just the soothing quiet of a winter night settling slowly into peace. Winter in the medieval world had its own quiet orchestra, a blend of soft, grounding sounds that drifted through villages and homes. These sounds were neither loud nor dramatic. They were steady companions to daily life. Imagine the faint crunch of frost underfoot, the gentle hiss of wind moving past wooden walls, and the distant rhythm of someone gathering firewood. Each sound belonged to the season, creating a calm backdrop that encouraged slower thoughts and deeper breaths. Let these imagined sounds settle into your mind like a soft blanket. Before we explore these winter soundscapes, from which country are you listening tonight, and what time is it there? These calm stories travel across many peaceful rooms around the world. And if relaxing history like this brings comfort to your evenings, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and leave a gentle comment. It truly helps this small channel grow and continue sharing quiet stories for your nights. The first sound many families heard in winter was the slow crackle of the hearth. It wasn't a roaring flame, but a steady, patient glow that warmed the home. The wood shifted softly, releasing tiny pops that echoed lightly across the room. This gentle crackling brought reassurance, the kind that helped minds settle after long hours in the cold. Imagine that steady warmth filling your own quiet space. Outside, footsteps on frozen soil echoed differently than in other seasons. Each step produced a crisp, muted crunch that felt both grounding and soothing. People walked slowly, partly from caution and partly because winter encouraged a gentler pace. Picture that rhythmic crunch following each step, steady and calming. Wind also played its role in winter's gentle symphony. It brushed against rooftops, slipped between wooden beams, and carried faint whistles across open fields. These sounds were constant reminders of the world outside, connecting people to the land even from within warm homes. Let the sound of that soft wind drift through your imagination. Inside the home, simple daily tasks created their own quiet melodies. The clink of wooden utensils, the soft stirring of a pot, and the slide of woven cloth across a table all blended into a peaceful rhythm. These were not noisy actions. They were small notes of normal life. Imagine these sounds gathering around you, gentle and familiar. Take a moment to return to your breath. A slow inhale, a gentle exhale. The way winter sounds rose and fell can guide your breathing into a calmer, more peaceful rhythm. Animal shelters added their own sounds to the winter atmosphere. Soft breathing, the rustle of straw, and the occasional quiet movement of hooves or wings brought a sense of life to otherwise still days. These sounds reminded families that warmth and comfort could be found even in the coldest weeks. Picture that subtle hum of animal life bringing softness to the quiet. Snow, when it fell, created one of the calmest sounds of all. It arrived without footsteps or fanfare, drifting silently onto rooftops and fields. The world grew quieter as snow gathered, smoothing the edges of every sound beneath a muted layer. That hush felt almost like a pause, a gentle invitation to slow down. Imagine that peaceful silence settling through your thoughts. Inside, small conversations floated gently through the air. Winter encouraged softer voices, slower words, and thoughtful pauses. People spoke about simple tasks, the weather, or hopes for the coming days. These quiet exchanges were steadying, offering connection without overwhelming the senses. Let that softness influence your own thoughts now. The sound of clothing became more noticeable during winter. Layers of wool brushed softly against each other, cloaks shifted with faint swooshes, and thick socks moved quietly across straw-covered floors. These subtle textures added warmth to the atmosphere, creating a gentle auditory cocoon. Imagine those soft rustling sounds welcoming you deeper into calm. Throughout the day, the shifting of firewood created familiar echoes. A log placed onto the pile produced a solid, comforting thud. Another log added to the hearth sparked a faint crackle. These small noises mark the passing of time in a slow, rhythmic way. Let these imagined sounds help your own thoughts slow down. Another gentle reminder to focus on your breath. A slow inhale, an even slower exhale. Let the quiet rhythm of winter guide your mind toward peace. Distant sounds also shaped winter life. A far-off chopping of wood, the creak of a well being used, or the muffled call of someone across a snowy path all lingered softly in the cold air. These sounds traveled farther in winter stillness, creating a sense of connection between homes even from a distance. Picture those faint echoes drifting gently through the landscape. Inside the home, the movement of chairs, the clink of clay cups, and the soft brushing of hands warming near the hearth added layers to the cozy atmosphere. These tiny, familiar noises made winter evenings feel intimate and reassuring. Let that intimacy help your thoughts settle. By midday, the blend of indoor and outdoor sounds created a calm rhythm that carried families through the rest of their tasks. The season encouraged stillness, careful listening, and awareness of small details. As you imagine this gentle soundscape, let your mind drift slowly into a deeper state of ease. And in the heart of winter, the quietest sounds often held the most comfort. A soft breath, a small crackle of fire, or the whisper of wind against the shutters created a peaceful world within the cold. Let that world wrap itself around you as you sink deeper into rest. During the late afternoon, when light dimmed quickly, the sounds inside a medieval home softened even more. The fire became the center of attention, offering small but steady noises, tiny pops, faint crackles, and the gentle sigh of wood settling into embers. These sounds shaped the evening mood, encouraging everyone to slow down and stay close to warmth. As you imagine them now, let those soft crackles melt into your thoughts, calming your mind and loosening tension. Beyond the walls, winter carried a subtle quiet that amplified every distant noise. A traveler's footsteps, the slow creak of a gate, or the flap of a bird's wings traveled farther through the cold air. People listened instinctively, recognizing sounds that signaled routine, safety, or simple movement across the landscape. Imagine this awareness welcoming you into a peaceful, grounded state. Even chores had soundscapes that felt distinct in winter. The gentle grinding of grain, the soft brushing of wool, or the rhythmic chop of small pieces of firewood blended with the calm of the season. These sounds were never overwhelming. They were steady companions that carried people through their tasks. Let that steady rhythm help guide your own thoughts into a slow, comfortable flow. During winter evenings, homes were filled with the soft clinking of clay cups and wooden spoons. People stirred warm foods, passed bowls across the table, and set utensils gently onto surfaces. These small noises created a sense of familiarity and closeness. Picture those gentle clinks echoing softly around you. From time to time, return gently to your breath. A slow inhale, a deeper exhale. As winter sounds quieted the world, let your breathing quiet your thoughts. Children moved softly during winter nights, aware of how easily sound traveled in the stillness. Their footsteps were light, their whispers barely above a murmur. The gentle rustle of blankets or clothing added to the home's soothing texture. Imagine these faint sounds comforting the space around you. Even the shifting of furniture or the creaking of wood became part of the season's signature soundscape. The cooling of the walls at night made wooden beams relax with soft groans. These quiet, natural sounds reminded people of the structure sheltering them from the cold. Let that subtle sense of protection reach you now, settling your heart. In some homes, someone might hum quietly while working, the soft melody drifting around the room like warm air. These hums were not songs meant for performance. They were gentle, instinctive expressions of calm. Imagine that soft humming carrying you deeper into comfort. Sometimes the only sound was breathing. Slow, steady breaths rising and falling around the room, blending with the faint glow of the fire. This shared stillness created an atmosphere of deep rest and connection. Let that imagined breathing anchor your own, guiding you into peace. Another small reminder to return to your breath. Slow, soft, patient. Let your exhale loosen your shoulders. Animals outside added their own nighttime noises. A quiet snort, the soft shifting of hooves, or the gentle flutter of birds settling into roosts. These sounds reassured families that life continued calmly beyond the walls. Picture this soft hum of life easing into your thoughts. Snowfall brought one of the most peaceful soundscapes of all. The world didn't just grow quiet. It felt padded, softened, cocooned. Even footsteps seemed muted, absorbed by the layer of snow. This silence felt almost sacred in its calmness, reminding people to move gently and speak softly. Let that gentle hush settle through your imagination. Inside, the fire dimmed slowly, leaving behind a bed of glowing embers. These embers offered a low, steady warmth, breathing softly like a living presence within the home. Their faint crackles became the final sound many people heard before drifting to sleep. Imagine that warm glow easing you further into rest. As the night deepened, homes settled into near silence. The small sounds of winter, muffled footsteps, faint breathing, the distant whisper of wind, created a quiet world that felt safe and enclosed. Let that peaceful quiet guide your thoughts towards stillness. And finally, as the last ember faded and the cold pressed softly against the walls, winter's soundscape wrapped around the home like a gentle blanket. Nothing rushed, nothing demanded attention. The season's calmness carried everyone gently into rest. Let that same calmness wrap around you now, guiding you steadily toward deep, peaceful sleep. Travel during medieval winter was never rushed. The world outside moved at a slower, quieter pace, shaped by cold air, softened paths, and careful footsteps. Journeys became gentle and deliberate, with each sound and movement blending into the hush of the season. Imagine stepping into this faintly frosted world, where the crisp air encourages calm and every step feels like part of a quiet rhythm. Let that imagined landscape help your breathing settle and your thoughts soften. Before we explore how people traveled in winter, from which country are you listening tonight, and what time is it there? These calm stories travel across many peaceful rooms around the world. And if slow, relaxing history helps ease your mind, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and leave a soft comment. It truly supports this small channel and keeps these soothing stories alive. Leaving home in winter required preparation. Cloaks were fastened tightly, hoods pulled low, and boots wrapped to protect against the cold. People warmed their hands before stepping out, knowing that warmth granted by Allah helped ease the first shock of the morning air. Imagine those quiet preparations grounding you, just as they steadied travelers long ago. The first steps outside were often the coldest. Frosted grass crunched faintly, and shallow puddles had thin layers of ice that cracked softly underfoot. The sound was gentle, not sharp, enough to remind travelers of the season without disturbing the calm. Picture this soft crunch guiding your own thoughts into a slower rhythm. Paths in winter changed texture. Grass became stiff, dirt turned to frozen earth, and mud transformed into uneven patches that required steady footing. People chose each step with awareness, letting the land set the pace. This caution created a peaceful kind of travel, unhurried and mindful. Let that unhurried pace wash over your imagination. Travelers often listened to the wind as they moved. It swept across open fields with a low, steady hum, carrying hints of distant sounds, a barking dog, a cartwheel turning, or the faint call of someone further down the path. These soft layers of sound shaped the quiet atmosphere of winter journeys. Imagine that hum blending with your breath. Take a moment to return gently to your breathing. Slow inhale, slower exhale. Let this small anchor guide you deeper into ease, just as winter travelers anchored themselves by listening to the land. Horses and carts moved differently in winter. Hooves left shallow prints on hardened ground, and wheels rolled with a muted crunch instead of their usual rattle. Drivers guided their animals carefully, speaking in calm tones to maintain steady movement. These quiet interactions created a sense of companionship on the road. Picture those soft exchanges drifting through the cold air. Snow, when present, transformed travel into something quieter still. Footsteps sank into soft layers, muffling each sound. The world felt padded, almost dreamlike, with outlines of trees and fences softened beneath white coverings. Travelers adjusted their pace easily, respecting the land's slower rhythm. Imagine that quiet landscape settling into your mind like a gentle fog. Pauses were common during winter journeys. People stopped near sheltered spots, warming their hands with breath or adjusting their layers. These small breaks helped them stay comfortable, granted by the permission of Allah. The pauses felt natural, not burdensome, moments to reconnect with warmth before continuing. Let that idea of pausing bring calm to your own thoughts. Markers along paths, stones, trees, small wooden posts became important guides in winter. With shorter daylight hours and muted colors, these familiar shapes offered reassurance. Travelers recognized them instantly, using them to measure distance and progress. Imagine those quiet landmarks appearing steadily along your internal landscape. The sound of leather straps, jingling harnesses, and shifting fabric added warmth to the cold air. These gentle noises followed travelers, creating a small personal soundscape that felt comforting against the silence of the landscape. Picture those sounds accompanying you like soft companions. Another gentle reminder to focus on your breath. Let each inhale soften your chest and each exhale release a bit more tension. Winter's slow pace helps your mind slow too. Most journeys were short in winter. People traveled only when necessary, bringing grain to a mill, checking on relatives, or trading small items. These trips were purposeful but unhurried, shaped by the understanding that winter required care. Imagine moving with that same purposeful calmness. Travelers often returned home before nightfall, guided by the dimming light and cooling air. The sight of smoke rising from their chimney or the glow of fire through shutters brought relief and warmth to the heart. Picture that comforting sight waiting for you, steady and reassuring. And as travelers stepped back inside, the silence of winter roads remained with them, a gentle reminder of the world they had just crossed. Let that quiet memory wrap around your imagination, guiding you into deeper calm and rest. As afternoon sunlight thinned into pale gold, travelers felt the air cooling quickly around them. Winter light faded faster than any other season, urging people to move with calm intention. Shadows stretched quietly across fields and paths, guiding travelers to finish their journeys before darkness settled. Imagine that fading golden light stretching softly across your own thoughts, easing the edges of your day. Stopping to rest was often essential in winter. People sought sheltered corners, behind a stone wall, beside a cluster of trees, or near a quiet barn. These resting spots offered brief protection from the wind and allowed travelers to gather warmth. They would breathe slowly, steadying themselves before continuing. Let that same slow, steadying pause flow gently into your imagination. Horse-drawn carts moved with similar patterns. Drivers recognized the importance of pacing, giving their animals time to gather breath and conserve energy. The gentle snorts of horses, the soft shake of harness bells, and the slow rhythm of hooves created a calming pattern. Picture those sounds blending into a peaceful winter soundtrack. Travelers often wore multiple layers that rustled softly as they walked. Cloaks brushed against boots, and wool hoods shifted with each breath of wind. These subtle textures made the journey feel more intimate, as if each sound was part of a personal winter cocoon. Imagine those warm layers surrounding you now, helping your body relax. From time to time, return softly to your breath. A slow inhale, a deeper exhale. Let this rhythm become your steady companion, just as winter sounds guided travelers long ago. Meeting others on the road was a gentle moment. People exchanged soft greetings, shared a few words about the weather or road conditions, then continued on their way. These brief interactions felt comforting, reminding everyone that others also move through the same cold landscape. Imagine that quiet sense of connection warming your thoughts. Streams and rivers changed in winter, producing their own subtle sounds. Water moved slowly beneath thin sheets of ice, creating faint trickles or soft clicks as the ice shifted. Travelers paused to listen, recognizing familiar tones that signaled both beauty and caution. Picture those delicate water sounds guiding your mind deeper into calm. The land's colors softened in winter. Trees stood in quiet silhouettes, fields rested under frost, and distant hills faded into pale blues and grays. This muted palette made journeys feel peaceful, almost dreamlike. Imagine walking through that soft landscape, each step moving you closer to stillness. As daylight faded, lanterns or small torches guided the final part of the journey. Their warm glow illuminated paths in gentle circles, offering comfort in the dimming world. The flame's flicker created a soothing rhythm, steadying tired minds. Picture that warm glow lighting the path before you, calm and reassuring. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Slow and steady, like the soft pulse of a lantern flame. Reaching the edge of the village felt like stepping into a familiar embrace. Travelers recognized the shapes of homes, the faint scent of wood smoke, and the warm light drifting from windows. These signs signaled safety and comfort, easing the final steps of the journey. Imagine that welcoming feeling settling into your chest. Footsteps grew quieter as travelers entered the village paths, softened by straw, frost, or patches of snow. The village itself carried a muted hum, a closing gate, a distant voice, a dog shifting in its shelter. These gentle sounds formed a calming tapestry that guided people home. Let that tapestry settle around your thoughts like a soft blanket. Inside each home, the warmth granted by Allah waited patiently. A glowing fire, simmering food, and familiar voices welcomed the traveler back into comfort. The contrast between cold outside and warmth inside created a deep sense of relief. Imagine stepping into that warm room now, feeling the tension ease from your body. Travelers removed their outer layer slowly, brushing off frost and warming their hands near the hearth. Every movement felt deliberate, acknowledging the journey they had completed. This moment of transition carried its own peaceful weight. Picture that gentle return to warmth easing your mind. The quiet memories of the road lingered softly in the mind, crunching footsteps, cool breezes, fading daylight. These memories created a calm after effect, like a quiet echo of the day's journey. Let that echo guide your thoughts toward rest. And as night finally settled outside, travelers found comfort in the stillness of home. Winter journeys may have been slow and challenging, but they brought with them a deep appreciation for warmth, safety, and quiet. Allow that feeling to wrap around you now, guiding you gently toward deeper relaxation and rest. Winter evenings stretched quietly across medieval homes, creating long, peaceful hours shaped by soft firelight and unhurried routines. As daylight faded early, people naturally gathered closer, letting the warmth of the hearth guide the rhythm of the night. Imagine stepping into one of those calm rooms, where shadows move gently across wooden walls and the soft crackle of the fire fills the silence. Let this warm, unhurried atmosphere begin to ease your thoughts, inviting you into a slower, more peaceful state. Before we explore these long evenings, from which country are you listening tonight, and what time is it there? These quiet stories reach many homes around the world, each with its own small moment of calm. And if relaxing history like this brings you comfort, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and leave a gentle comment. It helps this small channel grow and continue creating peaceful stories for your nights. As night settled, families often gathered around the hearth, not out of luxury but because warmth granted by Allah naturally brought people closer. The fire became the quiet center of the evening, offering light for simple tasks and comfort after the day's work. Imagine that warm glow settling across your own mind, soft and steady. Chores shifted during winter evenings. Instead of outdoor work, people focused on gentle indoor tasks, mending clothing, weaving baskets, or preparing materials for the next day. These tasks were slow, repetitive, and calming, perfect companions for long nights. Picture the soft brushing of fabric and the rhythmic movements guiding your thoughts into a quieter rhythm. Even leisure was simple in winter. People enjoyed small moments of stillness, resting tired hands, stretching near the fire, or sharing quiet observations about the day. Nothing was rushed, nothing demanded urgency. The quiet acceptance of the evening created a soothing atmosphere. Let that acceptance rest in your imagination. Talking in winter evenings took on a softer tone. Voices were low, conversations deliberate, punctuated by long pauses. People spoke about familiar things, weather, memories, small plans. These gentle exchanges strengthened bonds without overwhelming the senses. Imagine that softness shaping the tone of your own thoughts. Take a moment to return to your breath. A slow inhale, a softer exhale. Let this gentle rhythm ground you, just as winter evenings grounded families long ago. Light from a fire danced across household objects, softening their shapes and warming their colors. Clay bowls glowed faintly, wooden beams reflected subtle amber light, and woven mats absorbed the heat. This warm, earthy palette created a cocoon-like environment. Imagine that warm color spreading through your mind, calming and steady. Children often settled close to the fire, wrapped in cloaks or blankets. Their quiet movements, soft yawns, and gentle shifting added warmth to the evening. These small sounds blended with the hush of nighttime, creating a soothing atmosphere that encouraged rest. Picture that quiet domestic rhythm settling into your thoughts. Some families use the evening to prepare food for the next morning, soaking grains, warming water, or organizing stored ingredients. These tasks flowed with calm intention, matching the slow pace of the night. Imagine those small preparations creating soft, reassuring sounds. The wind outside sometimes brushed lightly against the shutters, a faint reminder of the world beyond the warm room. This contrast between cold outside and warmth inside added to the comfort of the evening. Let that contrast deepen your sense of relaxation. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Allow your inhale to soften and your exhale to lengthen, guiding your body further into ease. People also spent time tending to tools, smoothing wooden handles or cleaning small items so they would be ready for the next day. These quiet actions required little effort, making them perfect for evening hours. Imagine the soft scrape of wood and the gentle clink of tools adding texture to the calm. Sometimes the only sound in the room was the fire's slow breathing. Embers shifted softly, sending out small bursts of warmth. This steady background sound created a comforting rhythm that encouraged early rest. Picture that warm sound filling your mind like a soft lullaby. As the evening deepened, blankets were arranged, cloaks folded nearby, and sitting areas tidied with minimal effort. These small gestures signaled the approach of rest. Imagine these quiet movements settling around you like a soft, peaceful ritual. And in the quiet heart of winter evenings, the slow, steady rhythm of the home created a calm that felt deep and lingering. Let that calm settle gently into your thoughts now, guiding you into the peaceful quiet of the night. As the night deepened, families often shifted from small tasks to moments of simple rest. Some sat quietly near the fire, their hands warmed by the glow, while others leaned back against wooden walls wrapped in cloaks. This gentle transition marked a pause in the rhythm of the day, inviting calm into every corner of the room. Imagine that same pause entering your own thoughts, soft and grounding. Warm drinks offered additional comfort during winter evenings. Heated water, simple broth, or herbs steeped gently filled the room with a soothing scent. Holding a warm cup felt like holding a small piece of relief against the cold outside. Each sip brought relaxation, granted by Allah's mercy, helping the body unwind. Picture that warmth spreading through your hands into your chest, easing you deeper into rest. Storytelling also found its place in these long evenings. Families shared memories, recalled past seasons, or spoke softly about humorous moments from daily life. These stories were quiet and intimate, shaped by gentle laughter and familiar voices. Imagine those warm, subdued conversations drifting around you like a comforting blanket. From time to time, return softly to your breath. Slow inhale, slower exhale. Let this rhythm anchor your mind as the evening scene unfolds. Some people worked on small crafts during these hours, carving wood, braiding rope, or shaping simple containers. The soft scrape of tools and the gentle brushing of materials created a peaceful soundtrack that matched the calm of the room. Imagine those textures filling the air with quiet beauty. As the fire lowered into glowing embers, its light softened even further. Shadows stretched gently, moving like slow waves across the floor. The temperature of the room dipped slightly, encouraging families to gather closer and share warmth. Picture that soft closeness easing tension from your shoulders. Winter evenings invited reflection. People often paused to think about the day, what they had completed, what was left for tomorrow, and how the season shaped their routines. These thoughts were calm, rarely heavy, carried gently by the quiet atmosphere. Let that sense of reflection settle your own mind peacefully. Children drifted into sleep early, their quiet breathing blending into the steady rhythm of the night. Cloaks or blankets were pulled gently around them, creating a cocoon of warmth. The room felt even calmer as their small movements faded into stillness. Imagine that soft stillness settling over you now. Occasionally, a small sound broke the quiet, a shifting log, a creak in the wooden frame of the house, or the faint whisper of wind. Instead of disrupting the peace, these sounds added texture to the night, a reminder that the world continued gently outside. Let those faint imaginary sounds guide you deeper into comfort. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Let each inhale bring softness, and each exhale release whatever tension remains. Some families prepared small comforts for the next morning, like placing a pot of water near the fire or arranging tools for early chores. These small acts were expressions of care, ensuring the next day began smoothly. Picture those thoughtful gestures bringing a quiet warmth to your imagination. As the night approached its calmest point, the fire dimmed into a deep red glow. Its warmth lingered softly in the room, touching walls and floors with a fading amber light. Families rested close to it, breathing slowly and peacefully. Imagine that dim glow resting gently in your mind. Windows and shutters held back the cold wind, creating a barrier that made the home feel protected. The contrast between the cold outside and the warmth inside created a deep sense of safety. Let that sense of protection settle across your thoughts like a warm cloak. People often ended the evening by quietly settling their sleeping spaces, unrolling mats, shaking out blankets, or smoothing fabric. These small, practical gestures signaled the final moments before rest. Imagine performing these simple motions, each one encouraging your body towards stillness. The quietest moments of winter evenings arrived just before sleep, when the fire whispered softly from its ember bed and the entire room seemed wrapped in calm. In this peaceful silence, the world felt gentle, slow, and safe. Let that final, soothing image guide you deeper into rest, without pressure or expectation, only the soft invitation of a winter night settling around you. Winter in the medieval world brought a kind of silence that felt deep and steady, stretching across fields, forests, and villages like a soft blanket. It wasn't an empty silence. It was filled with subtle life, gentle sounds, and long pauses that encouraged the mind to rest. Imagine stepping into that quiet landscape, where the world moves slowly and every breath feels crisp and calming. Let that soft silence begin to soothe your thoughts, inviting you into a deeper sense of peace. Before we explore the silence of winter more closely, from which country are you listening tonight, and what time is it there? These stories reach many peaceful rooms around the world, each wrapped in its own quiet moment. And if slow, calming history like this helps you relax, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and leave a gentle comment. It truly supports this small channel and helps keep these peaceful stories alive. Nature's silence wasn't a lack of sound, it was a softer arrangement of them. The distant crack of frozen branches, the faint whistle of wind across snow, and the muted thud of footsteps created a calm rhythm. Families grew familiar with these noises, letting them guide the pace of each day. Imagine those subtle sounds blending softly in your mind. Fields rested under frost, their usual activity paused for the season. The stillness of the land encouraged people to slow down too, matching their routines to the muted tones of winter. The quiet wasn't lonely, it was grounding. Let that grounded feeling settle gently into your chest. Forests changed in winter as well. Leaves were gone, branches stood bare, and the soft fall of snow matted the sounds beneath it. Footsteps echoed differently among the trees, creating gentle rhythms that travelers found soothing. Picture walking through a quiet forest where each step feels cushioned and calm. Take a moment to return gently to your breath. Slow inhale, slower exhale. Let the quiet of winter guide your breathing into a peaceful rhythm. Animals reflected this silence with softer movements. Birds perched quietly, small creatures tucked into hidden shelters, and larger animals moved slowly across frozen ground. People sometimes paused their work just to listen to the quiet presence of wildlife. Imagine that subtle life surrounding you in a soft, peaceful glow. Rivers and streams produced calmer sounds in winter. Some froze at the surface, creating a delicate layer that clicked softly as water moved beneath. Others flowed quietly, their usual rush muted by the cold. These gentle tones offered comfort to travelers who stopped to warm their hands nearby. Picture that soft water sound soothing your thoughts. Homes near forests or open fields felt this silence more deeply. Sounds traveled farther, the crackle of a hearth, the closing of a door, or the low murmur of conversation drifting into the evening air. This distance made the world feel spacious yet intimate. Imagine your own thoughts floating that gently across a quiet landscape. At dawn, silence wrapped itself around villages like a soft veil. People stepped outside into crisp air, hearing only their footsteps and the faint sounds of distant animals beginning their day. This quiet helped ease the mind into wakefulness without hurry. Imagine that peaceful dawn settling gently into your imagination. Snow played a major role in creating winter silence. It absorbed sound, softened footsteps, and made familiar places feel dreamlike. Even moments of activity became muted, surrounded by the hush of the season. Picture that soft snow muffling the world around you, calming your senses. The wind carried its own quiet patterns. Sometimes it moved gently among rooftops. Other times it brushed lightly across frozen grass. Its soft presence reminded families of nature's larger rhythm, encouraging them to slow their own pace. Imagine that whisper of wind brushing gently through your thoughts. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Feel your inhale soften the chest and your exhale release tension, like a small wave returning to shore. Inside the home, families embraced the quiet. Tasks were done with calm movements, and voices lowered naturally. Even children spoke more softly, matching the atmosphere of the season. Let that gentle quiet shape your own inner rhythm. Silence also brought clarity. Without the noise of harvests, markets, or busy fields, minds found space to think, reflect, or simply drift peacefully. Winter created moments where thoughts could stretch comfortably, without pressure. Imagine that mental space opening softly within you. And as the evening approached, the silence deepened, blending with the warmth of the hearth and the calm of routine. This layered quietness helped guide families into rest, wrapping them in gentle peace. Let that quiet guide your thoughts now, settling softly like snow on a still winter night. As the afternoon sun dropped lower in the sky, winter silence began to deepen. Shadows stretched across fields, settling softly between trees and along rooftops. The world felt suspended in a gentle pause, encouraging people to move slowly and speak quietly. Imagine this hush settling over your thoughts, softening the edges of your day. Families often stepped outside briefly to gather firewood or check on animals before evening. Each action seemed amplified by the quiet, the clink of wood, the soft crunch of frost, the calm breathing of animals. These sounds blended into the stillness rather than breaking it. Picture those gentle noises floating through cool air, steady and peaceful. Even when chores required effort, the silence helped lighten the mood. Carrying wood, sweeping snow from pathways, or walking across frozen ground felt easier when matched with nature's calm rhythms. This harmony made winter work feel more meditative than tiring. Imagine your own thoughts aligning with that steady rhythm. Inside the home, silence took on a different warmth. The soft shuffle of feet, the whisper of blankets being arranged, or the faint bubbling of a simmering pot created a cozy soundscape. These sounds felt comforting against the silence outside, like a warm glow pushing gently against the cold. Let that indoor warmth drift into your imagination. From time to time, return gently to your breath. Slow inhale, slower exhale. Let each breath guide you further into quiet calm. Nightfall brought one of the most peaceful silences of the season. The world outside grew still, with only the faintest whisper of wind or the soft shifting of snow. Homes nestled into the landscape, their small windows offering gentle points of light. Picture yourself looking out into that quiet night, feeling completely safe and settled. The silence allowed people to hear things normally overlooked: the tiny crackle of cooling wood, the faint rustle of straw, or the soft sigh of the house as it adjusted to the cold. These delicate sounds deepened the feeling of connection to their environment. Let these subtle noises fill your thoughts like soft echoes. Some evenings, the sky was so clear that sounds seemed to travel effortlessly. A distant dog's bark, a closing gate, or a quiet voice from another home floated gently across the cold air. These faraway sounds reminded families that they were part of a community, even in winter stillness. Imagine that sense of connection warming your heart. Snowfall brought its own version of silence at night. The world seemed to exhale as flakes drifted downward, landing softly on roofs and pathways. This kind of quiet was soothing, almost hypnotic. Imagine that peaceful snowfall wrapping your thoughts in a soft embrace. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Let your inhale feel calm and your exhale feel even calmer. As families prepared for rest, the silence made every movement feel more intentional. Blankets were adjusted with care, firewood was placed quietly on embers, and lanterns were dimmed slowly. These motions blended with the quiet, signaling a peaceful end to the day. Picture these small nighttime rituals settling you gently. Once people lay down to rest, winter silence became their companion. The absence of loud noise helped their minds drift naturally into sleep. The quiet held them like a shelter, steady and calming. Let that same shelter surround you now. Homes rested too, creaking softly as they cooled. These small sounds felt familiar and reassuring, as if the house itself were easing into sleep. Imagine that calm, gentle settling guiding your body towards stillness. The final hours of the night were the quietest. Even the wind often paused, leaving the world wrapped in softness. This deep silence created a space where thoughts faded gently, replaced by slow breaths and steady warmth. Let that deep quiet guide you closer to rest. And as winter's silence settled over the land, people found comfort not in noise or distraction, but in the calm that Allah allowed to fill their homes. Let this final image rest softly in your mind, guiding you into deeper peace, where the quiet of winter night carries you gently towards sleep. Even in the quiet heart of winter, people long ago held a gentle awareness that spring would eventually return. This hope wasn't loud or dramatic. It was a soft, steady feeling woven into the rhythms of their days. Each small sign, each shift in light, and each breath of slightly warmer air reminded them that the world moved in cycles shaped by Allah's wisdom. Imagine holding that same soft hope within you now, like a warm ember resting quietly in the cold. Before we explore how winter slowly gave way to spring, from which country are you listening tonight, and what time is it there? These calm stories reach many peaceful rooms around the world. And if this kind of quiet, relaxing history brings comfort to your evenings, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and leave a gentle comment. It truly supports this small channel and helps these peaceful stories continue. As the days progressed, people noticed the sun lingering just a little longer in the sky. The difference was small, but meaningful. Shadows shifted, the air felt slightly less sharp, and mornings arrived with a subtle softness. These tiny changes gently encouraged the heart, much like a slow, steady breath easing tension from the mind. Picture that growing warmth settling softly into your thoughts. Animals responded to these changes too. Birds became slightly more active, livestock lingered outside a bit longer, and distant sounds carried differently across fields. These small hints of movement brought comfort to families who had spent weeks surrounded by winter stillness. Imagine these gentle stirrings adding lightness to your imagination. Inside the home, families began preparing quietly for the season ahead. Tools were checked, baskets repaired, and stored seeds examined. These tasks were done slowly, almost meditatively, reminding everyone that the world would soon wake again. Let that gentle anticipation drift into your mind like a soft breeze. Take a moment to return to your breath. Slow inhale, slower exhale. Let your breathing follow the same calm rhythm that guided families through the last stretch of winter. Evenings still felt long, but they carried a different tone now. Instead of the deep stillness of early winter, a subtle sense of readiness filled the air. Families talked softly about tasks to come, cleaning fields, repairing fences, or preparing for early planting. These conversations were filled with quiet optimism. Imagine that optimism resting warmly in your chest. Snow began to soften under the sun's growing warmth. It didn't melt quickly. Instead, it retreated slowly, revealing patches of dark soil beneath. This process encouraged people to step outside more often, to observe the land's first signs of waking. Picture that contrast. Snow lifting gently, earth returning. Even the wind felt different. Instead of winter's sharp edge, it carried hints of moisture, as if preparing the world for coming rains. People noticed these shifts instinctively, allowing them to guide their expectations. Imagine that softer wind brushing through your thoughts, bringing calm. Teens and children often sensed the coming change most eagerly. Their movements grew livelier, their play extended slightly longer outdoors, and their laughter carried more easily across open ground. Their energy added a gentle brightness to the season's quiet. Picture those soft echoes of joy lifting your spirits. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Let your inhale bring warmth, and your exhale release heaviness. Families began opening shutters more often, letting in the pale light of late winter. Dust was brushed away, mats shaken gently, and corners of rooms tidied. These were small acts of renewal, quiet gestures of readiness. Imagine that feeling of fresh air entering your space, slow and cleansing. Paths that had been hardened by frost gradually softened. Footsteps made different sounds, less crunch, more give under the earth. These changes reminded travelers that journeys would soon become easier. Let that easing of the ground ease your own mind. Stored food supplies were checked with care. Families noted what remained and what would need replenishing once new growth arrived. This careful planning provided comfort, a reassurance that the season of renewal was approaching. Imagine that sense of reassurance settling gently across your thoughts. The brighter daylight also allowed more tasks to be completed indoors without rushing. People stitched clothing, patched tools, or organized baskets with a bit more energy. The extra light felt like a gift, a quiet signal that patience was being rewarded. Picture that gentle brightness illuminating your inner landscape. And as winter thinned, these small signs gathered into a soft chorus of hope. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, just the slow, graceful shift from cold to warmth, from stillness to quiet movement. Let that gentle shift guide your thoughts deeper into calm, like the first warm breeze after a long, quiet season. As winter's hold slowly loosened, people noticed small shifts in the landscape. Frozen streams began to move again with soft trickles beneath thinning ice. Birds tested their voices with gentle calls carried through cold air. These subtle changes reminded families that the world was stirring, preparing to wake. Imagine those soft sounds weaving themselves into your thoughts, creating a quiet sense of renewal. Families often spent the late days of winter arranging and repairing tools needed for the coming season. Wooden handles were tightened, blades checked, and baskets reinforced. These small preparations brought comfort, a sense of readiness shaped by slow, patient work. Picture yourself moving with that same calm intention, each motion easing your mind. Children watched these preparations with quiet excitement. Their days of staying indoors were coming to an end, and they sensed the shift before anyone else. Their footsteps grew lighter, their voices softer yet more hopeful. Let that quiet excitement warm your imagination like the first gentle ray of spring sunlight. From time to time, return gently to your breath. A slow inhale, a soft exhale. Let each breath feel like a small step toward renewal. Inside the home, people also prepared living spaces for the transition. Mats were shaken outdoors, wooden walls wiped down, and simple tools reorganized. These actions weren't rushed. They were calm gestures of making room for the next season that Allah would bring. Imagine that feeling of clearing space, creating a sense of openness in your thoughts. Snowmelt created new patterns across roads and fields. Water pooled in small patches that shimmered faintly in late afternoon light. The land felt alive again, gently shifting from rest to movement. People walked carefully around these puddles, aware of the earth softening beneath them. Picture the ground slowly awakening under your imagination. Evenings during this time carried a different quiet than deep winter. Instead of heavy stillness, there was a soft expectancy in the air, like a held breath waiting to release. Fires still glowed warmly, but the darkness seemed less dense, less isolating. Imagine that gentle expectancy settling into your chest. Families often talked about early planting, even if the soil was still too cold. These conversations brought warmth and optimism into the room, helping everyone look beyond the winter weeks. Picture these quiet plans forming like small sparks of light in your mind. The scent of the air changed too. Instead of dry winter sharpness, there were hints of damp soil, softened bark, and the first traces of new growth. These scents brought comfort and reassurance, a reminder of Allah's cycles in nature. Imagine breathing in that soft, earthy scent, calming and fresh. Another gentle reminder to return to your breath. Slow, steady, patient. Let each exhale loosen the weight of the day. Travelers returning to villages often brought tiny signs of change, slightly greener moss, melting ice, or softer ground near forest paths. These subtle details spread hope quietly from home to home. Picture these small tokens of change drifting gently across your thoughts. As days grew brighter, homes felt lighter too. People opened shutters more often, letting in cool air that carried a refreshing chill. Sunlight reflected softly against wooden furniture and woven mats, creating warm, inviting tones. Imagine that light filling your mind with a calm, golden glow. The final days of winter had a rhythm unlike any other. They were neither cold nor warm, neither fully silent nor fully alive. Instead, they held a gentle balance, an in-between moment that encouraged reflection and patience. Picture yourself resting in this soft in-between, without pressure to move quickly. People cherished these transitional days because they brought a sense of renewal, even before spring fully arrived. They felt gratitude for warmth returning, for daylight stretching, and for the promise of new growth ahead. Imagine that gratitude settling in your own heart as a quiet, peaceful warmth. And as winter slowly gave way to spring, families embraced the seasons ending with calm acceptance. There was no sudden shift, only a gentle unfolding, a soft return of life guided by Allah's mercy and rhythm. Let this final image rest gently within you, carrying you toward deeper calm, wrapped in the quiet hope of a world slowly waking again.